need to start the podcast in your best piratey voice.
I think he's already got a plan for it. I'm excited.
Ahoy, and welcome to Dem Guys Podcast. We have a very special episode for you today, which will include pirates, hobbits, and magnets. There you go.
Where's the hobbits?
Today is Hobbit Day. Today is Hobbit Day.
Today, as of recording, yeah.
Wow. Okay. Cool. Today I learned.
I have to say real quick before we get started, Drew, that was the most Russian-sounding pirate I've ever
put my
heard.
finger on it, but that's totally it. Excellent. Well, if you couldn't tell by Drew's Russian pirate accent, the QMagnet's here with us today.
Yes, I am here. I'm here. I don't know if you're actually starting
hello,
or not.
Minecrafters.
What's that?
You may know QMagnets from such Minecraft works as Diversity and Diversity 2.
And original maps like The Complex, like Snowshoes.
Yes, that's true.
So hipster that he played before anybody else thought it was cool.
That's true. You were the featured Let's Play on it.
I was. It's fantastic. It's the only thing I've ever been featured on. About to cry.
Ever in your life.
In my life. Yes.
I wasn't even featured in my own birth announcement.
They left my name off my birth certificate.
That's sad.
It's just shoe. No snow. Anyway, well, we've got a great podcast in store for today. I think we have a lot of controversial topics, possibly. At least one.
Indeed.
Well, I have a quick question before we move on. Do any of you know why today is Hobbit Day?
I think it's like Bilbo and Frodo's birthday.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Nice.
Really? They have the same months as Earth?
Oh.
No. Well, I don't know, because I mean the Hobbit calendar is different from like all of the races have their own calendars. Yeah. I think it's just sort of we celebrate, September 22nd as being, Bilbo and Frodo's birthday.
Huh. I guess I didn't even know they had the same birthday.
Yep. Oh yeah, that's a thing. They talk about that in I guess the first book in the Lord of the Rings.
I read it. Oh well. My reading comprehension's not great.
Yeah, we've noticed that in some of your videos.
Shh.
And in the reading of podcast questions, which you can send to demguyspodcast@gmail.com.
demguyspodcast@gmail.com.
I endorse it.
Nice.
Thank you. QMagnet endorses that email address.
It's fantastic. He also endorses our Twitter account, I just decided.
I do.
Which is at demguyspodcast.
At demguyspodcast. I almost spelled that one wrong.
I endorse that.
almost messed that up. So I thought it was fitting, as we start today's podcast, to talk about why QMagnet is here. It's kind of like, I've decided it's kind of like We're the Late Show with David Letterman, and he's making his rounds of he just released this movie, and now he has to show these previews for the movie and everything. And so now he's here to promote to the listenership his new map, which he doesn't really need to promote because it's like.
I was gonna say, I hope some people play it. Yes, when it comes out, that'll be great.
Who knows, man? It actually came out September 8th, I believe.
September 8th.
And you're up to 100,000 downloads.
Wow.
It's a little bit more now. 112.
Jeez.
Nice.
Yeah, it's been really taken off.
That's awesome. Yeah, you've got a couple of. I know last time. So for Diversity 1, it was kind of slow as in getting the bigger YouTubers to play it. But now it's kind of everybody learned about Diversity 1, and now they're playing it right off the bat. Mm-hmm. So I think that helped you a lot.
Yeah, I think actually pretty much after Yogscast played it, it just kept everyone started playing it. The first one.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite videos on YouTube because as an Easter egg, QMagnet put me as one of the adventure guys. And my caption was always be on the lookout for zombies.
Yeah.
And I think it was Simon or one of the two Yogscast guys made my voice so hilariously terrible. He actually impersonated me, and it's awesome.
I want to go look that up now.
It's great.
Yeah,
he's
fantastic.
always be on the lookout for zombies.
They are hilarious when they do different voices and stuff.
Yeah, that's great. But yeah, so we wanted to have you on after Diversity released because we didn't want to just spend the whole time not spoiling things. So spoil some things.
Spoil something? You played through the whole thing, though?
Not all of it. So don't give spoilers, but now we can talk about stuff. What's your favorite branch? So if you guys don't know, Diversity 1 and 2 is it's a map with 10 different branches, ranging from adventure to survival to escape to labyrinth and all that stuff. And you basically have to go through all these branches to complete the map. It's a complete the monument map that's done a little bit differently. So what was the most awesome branch to make? I guess you didn't make all of them this time, but
no, I didn't make all. I had a really awesome team who did about half the map. My favorite branch to watch people play is trivia for sure.
Yeah, I just finished that one, so we can talk a little bit about that one.
I love I learned a lot from the first map, seeing what people hated.
Yeah,
and you would know because you played. People hated.
I watched a lot of playthroughs.
The same
too.
thing, same dying and restarting and doing all that. So specifically,
and I heard people like the lava level of the labyrinth.
Yeah,
is that right?
That was the best part, wasn't it? Actually, when I did that lava, I didn't even know. I was thinking, oh, this is a great idea. No one's ever done a lava maze ever. It's gonna be so cool.
Oh gosh, that makes me feel
and then you found out why.
I was thinking when I did because actually the trivia one, when I first started making the map, I knew pretty much what I wanted to do with that one. It was maybe the first or I think it was the second branch I finished, and I wanted to have like a different consequence for every single wrong answer.
Yeah, it's really cool. I enjoyed that a lot. I kept wanting to get the answers wrong.
Yeah, and that was my goal.
Happened.
Like, people are gonna want to get them wrong this time because it's so
right.
I'm either trolling them or it's so hard to come up with the ideas. Though, man, it took such a.
I can imagine. I went quite a while without getting one wrong. I think I got like the first 8 right or something, and I wanted to get one wrong just to see what was going to happen. Because last time in the first diversity, you basically just put people back to the very beginning, and you got the feedback. A lot of people got tired of that, having to input the same answers over and over. So I was wondering how you were going to do it, and it's fantastic. Every time I died, I was like, oh god, this is awesome.
Actually,
there's one part in specific that is my favorite. You have to watch my first episode to look at it, but it's great.
Actually, the very first diversity, there were no checkpoints. So if you got question 30 wrong, you had to go through every single one over again. And I quickly added a couple checkpoints because that was pretty much hated on.
I can't imagine that. That's awesome.
Yeah,
so your build team is consisted of what you said, 5 different guys?
There's 5 guys, and I kind of just approached them one at a time. First guy was Cold Fusion Gaming, who I knew from the maps that he'd made in the community. He's a really awesome organic builder. And I kind of joked about that in the update videos about talking about vines and stuff.
Right.
He's made some CTMs. He has a really popular map called Gloria, which was sort of Lost inspired. And I was thinking, if I'm gonna up the game this time around, I want to get some quality builders. So I asked him what he thought about doing a adventure one, and he was all for it. So
that was great. That branch is really good.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you made it as I went through. I was like, man, I don't know if is this really a QMagnet inspired?
No,
branch?
I did very, very little with that. Basically, I had to change some of the mechanics of it because CFG built it with the old adventure mode in mind, and like for specifically the redstone puzzle, he was going to go off the honor system. Only place the red dust on the green wool, and I'm thinking, players are not honorable. Okay, they will cheat if you give them the opportunity to cheat. They will cheat. So
who was it? Was it Ron Smelak that did the broke all the lamps in the complex?
We tease him about that all the time. In my first adventure map, he broke the map thinking he was actually beating it, but instead destroying it. But so I had to redo some of the mechanics for that. We were talking about it's almost done, and I was like, we should add some plumbing to the bathroom. So I added the shower there, but most of that is all Cold Fusion Gaming stuff.
That stupid shower, man. I love the dynamic of it, but I spent forever looking for the very last. You have to collect 8 mirrors in that branch, right?
Yeah.
And I spent forever looking for the last mirror. And I stood in the shower for like an hour, I think.
You know what? I couldn't find it either. I could not.
You couldn't find it either?
No, because they would give me, because of the way that diversity works in different. You teleport to different sections. The guys on the team, they would just give me back the branches that they were working on, and then I would play them either with them or chat with them while I was doing it. And I'm like, where is that mirror plate? Like, I have no idea. It's like, well, they hide stuff behind paintings. The older maps do that. Okay. So I added the little glass in the bathroom to figure that out. But
oh, man. Oh, that's what that was.
Yeah, it was supposed to hint to people. But, okay, so after CFG, I was also talking to Jesper, who is very popular for puzzle maps. And
maker of the code 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah. And 4 as well. He's working on that now.
What? Oh, you heard it here first.
Not first, no. He's working on it. And we had actually talked about building a boss. Have you not done the boss branch yet, have you?
No,
okay.
Saving that for last.
Okay, I won't spoil it. But we had talked about changing the boss branch in Diversity 1 because I pretty much got, that was dumb from everybody. That was just, why would you fight a wither? That's the stupidest idea. And I did it because I watched The Dark Knight Rises. I'm like, I'm going to have a cage match. Yeah. No.
I didn't ever think of that. It's inspired by The Dark Knight Rises. That's hilarious.
So anyway, I was talking to him. I'm like, we gotta build a boss branch because I really want to have something epic. And in my opinion, he's the most brilliant Minecraft just command block guy out there.
That guy, he does so many crazy things.
And then
so he did the boss branch? I thought Golden Turkey was going to do the boss branch.
Golden Turkey did all the aesthetics for it.
Okay.
So he built the actual you can see it in the trailer, like that huge castle thing. And I had seen his stuff. He had built some Minecraft. Actually, there's a VintageBeef boss battle.
I don't know if you saw that, Slasher Drew, but that was
I
my
did.
200 subscriber special. And I fought the giant beef, and Golden Turkey made that. Yeah. Who also worked on Diversity too.
So I was talking to him, but I'm like, man, and I especially like the Vex background he did a Vex boss fight.
Yeah.
And I'm like, because I know personally, I'm not a good organic builder. I can't, like, my style is very minimalistic. So
a lot of quartz.
I love quartz, yeah. But I asked him, I said, do you think you could build this for me? He's like, yeah, for sure. So I ended up building the boss. I might have spoiled that for you, Snow, but I designed the boss look. I gave it to Golden Turkey. He built the entire branch, and then Jesper built all the mechanics for it.
Okay. Man, I'm excited to play that now. It's gonna be sweet.
Yeah, it's phenomenal, but it's a little tricky to pick up, but you'll figure it out. And then it might have been around the same time. I had a subscriber who we became pretty good friends, QWERTY, and I was trying to come up with dropper ideas because that was kind of a complaint from the first one as well. I really wanted to up that. I talked to Big Ray, who invented...
the guy that made the dropper maps.
He created that genre. He gave me a bit of tips, I guess. And so I said, QWERTY, do you want to join the team? You think you can build some droppers? And he's like, I don't know, because I'm more like a redstoner. Okay, I'll see what you can do. Build some like space stuff. So after about...
Just build some space stuff. It'll be fine.
Well, after about a week, he's like, I give up. I can't do it. I'm like, are you serious? Come on. I really need droppers. And he says, no, I can't do it. I said, well, can you do puzzle? Yeah, I can do puzzle. So I gave him puzzle. And then, did you do puzzle yet?
No.
Okay, so everything in that branch is his.
Okay,
like
good.
everything.
So I'm
I don't think I did. If I did, the only thing I did was MC edit a few things, but basically that entire branch is all his genius.
Awesome. I'm excited for that one. That's like my bread and butter one that I'm saving for whenever I'm really excited to play.
It's a little bit hard, but you'll figure it out.
That's my favorite, man.
It's tricky.
Hard puzzles.
And then finally, after I was talking to Big Ray, I'm like, how am I going to do droppers? Like, even the droppers in the first diversity, I didn't really make them. I just copied them from Jesper's code, changed the textures. So I'm thinking, what am I going to do? I can't do droppers. So Bigry told me, here's some tips that I did. And one of the things that he had done was he'd used some filters by a guy named Adrian Brightmore.
Mm-hmm.
And so I actually contacted him and I was saying, do you have filters for this sort of thing? Like, I need some advice. How would you do? And then eventually one thing led to another. And I said, what do you think about joining the team and building droppers? And he's like, yeah, I'll help out. So he likes to work with schematics. I don't know if you guys work with MC Edit at all.
He's the guy that did the fractals, right?
Yeah, he's absolutely brilliant with filters and stuff like that. But he'll send me back schematics instead of world files. So it was a little bit of a different work process there. But he felt a little discouraged because he'd send me back something and be like, I don't know if that will really work. Can you redo this, that, and the other? But so him and I, we kind of worked on all the droppers, and I'm really happy with the way that they turned out. Like, it's to the point where it's not too long that it's getting frustrating, but it's just enough for an episode, I think.
I've heard some people say they can't figure out how to beat the last one. So,
have you played it?
No.
It's the thing. Everybody, see, that's why players hate reading. I tell them in the instruction books how to do things, and they don't read, and then they don't know how to do something. But that's the 5 guys who joined the team, and they also helped a little. Like the hub was kind of Jesper and Cordy added some stuff in there. But I'm really, really pleased to be friends with all those guys. Like, it's amazing. Cold Fusion Game also designed the survival branch too.
Yep, I'm halfway through that one.
Yeah. So that's the team.
That's awesome. It's kind of a different way of building it than a lot of people have. I think it ended up doing pretty well from what I've heard.
Well, I don't know how teams, like, I've played maps from builders, Link of Faith or whatever. I don't know how you can build on a server together, like
without just overriding each other.
That's the thing. Diversity is easier that way because you can build your own branch and then import it into the world. But I have a lot of respect for people who can actually build together. That's hard. That's hard work.
That's crazy. Yeah, but I think that's a good overview, kind of going through all the builders and all the levels. So we're excited for diversity. I'm gonna finish the dang thing. I want to finish it tonight, but I'm not going.
I've heard it takes about 7 hours.
Wait, is that so? The playtime is about 7 hours?
I think it's around 5 to 7 hours total.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. I've actually put about an hour into it myself.
Have you?
Oh, what?
I have. I hadn't mentioned it yet to the guys here, but it actually, because of the delay between recording and actually posting, it came out yesterday on my channel
on Tuesday.
The start
yesterday.
of it.
That's awesome.
Which is tomorrow for those of us in the past.
But don't talk to QMagnet about that. He lives in Canada, so he doesn't know about time zones and everything.
No.
There you go.
We have one time zone. But it's Canadian time. It's the same.
Except for Newfoundland, I found out.
Or
Newfoundland, or however you say that.
Yeah, they're a half-hour weird breed there. I don't know.
So I watched Snowshoe play the first diversity map. Right, and I was like, this is a really cool concept for a map. Whenever he mentioned that Diversity 2 was coming out, I'm like, this is something I think I'm gonna do. So when Snowshoe's Let's Play of it started, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna put all these in my queue to watch later, so I don't spoil anything. And I'm gonna play this as well and start putting episodes up. And I started with the arena branch, but it was funny because I start out and I do a little intro thing right in the initial room with all the wool blocks that are like going up into the sky, which was a really cool effect, and I step in, I'm like, okay, so here's the hub and here's all the different branches and everything, and I'm like, so we're going to step in here and I've been given a dead bush.
Yeah.
And so it was because I recognized this hub from the first one, so it was really cool how that caught me off guard and moved forward from there. But I got the biggest kick out of like the little things that I don't know if necessarily everybody would pick up on, but I know enough about command blocks and redstone stuff to, as I'm playing a map of any sort, I tend to look out for the neat things that the map builders are doing to leverage what's available in the game. So at one point, the chest you're supposed to put the wool into, I dropped like a book in there, you know, and I'm like, let's just see what it does with it. And then it was like destroying item and poof, there's like a black smoke coming out of it. And I'm like, that's cool, you know, that's good use of particle effects, you know, and dropping the wool from the ceiling. That's a cool thing too. That's really neat. Yeah. So like those sorts of things are what get me almost more excited than the actual map itself. Seeing those little tweaks here and there that just give it a nice aesthetic.
Was the wool dropping a Jesper thing?
No, that was all mine. That's basically that entire section was what I first built for the map. And when I first teased about it, I had a chickens video where I pretended to tell everybody why chickens were behind the first diversity map, and it opens up into the second one. That was after I had just finished the hub and made that wool falling down. And the reason I started that map is because I was just playing with set block and falling sand, and I didn't even know how to use it before I started Diversity 2. And I'm like, that's pretty cool if I can make wool fall down. Like, who's seen that?
Exactly, yeah.
But
I'm like, yeah, clearly this is a falling sand entity or whatever, but it's like, you know, it is used to great effect.
Yeah.
You know, it's a little touch that, you know, someone wouldn't necessarily have to do to make the map work, but it's a little bit of extra effort that makes it just aesthetically more pleasing, and I really enjoy that sort of stuff.
We're really lucky to be on the front end of 1.8, because unless you were involved in all the snapshots, people really didn't know all the amazing stuff that Mojang came up with. So when they play a big map that comes out like Diversity 2 or Suburbia, it seems like it's amazing advancement from 1.7, but it's just the commands that Mojang has put out, and I really wanted to take advantage of almost everything they've put out, just so people would take a look at that little stuff and be like, oh, that chest is smoking. And that was actually Abe Brightmore's idea. He's like, you should make it smoke when they put the wrong item in there. I'm like, okay, let's do it.
So yeah, that's another good thing about working in a team like that. Yeah, but it kind of lends to what we were going to talk about as far as 1.8. And now that it's all kind of said and done, looking back at it, has this update like completely changed the face of Minecraft, you guys think? Because it's so big. I mean, there's so many things in it. It's a completely different game, it seems like.
I feel like it's close to the amount of new content that we got when it went from like beta 1.8 to 1.0 full release.
Right.
You know, because from 1.8 to the beta to the full release, that's when like enchanting got added, and you know, and you know, like the food had just started stacking when hunger was just a new thing in 1.8 beta. You know, so there was a lot of stuff that happened with the 1.8 beta and then the full release. You know, the end was part of that release. You know, that was not a thing that happened before.
That's
you know,
true.
Endermen were a new thing. You know,
Yeah.
And so I think that the full version 1.8 feels a lot like that in that respect, that there's just a lot of stuff that happened that it's still Minecraft. It still feels like Minecraft. I don't think that it's like altered the feel of the game, but it definitely, you know, it's playing on a new 1.8 world is extremely different from playing on a new 1.7 world.
Yeah. It's true, and that's kind of what I was saying. I told you guys I started my own 1.8 world, like privately, not Let's Playing. Whenever I started it in the snapshot, I was just like, holy cow, it even looks different, and you didn't think they did any different terrain generation, but they totally did.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And it looks great.
There's a lot of little details, like they changed the way the grass texture actually is angled between each block, so it looks...
It's called the random textures, I think.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I saw a video on it, but
it's like alternate block or something.
Yeah, that's right.
I think it's what it is in the settings. But yeah,
I was gonna say, in terms of map making, it's completely revolutionized it. Like,
yeah,
and I think that has a lot to do with Sarge, who joined Mojang last year, or not.
It was right before this update started, wasn't it?
Yeah, he's really embraced the map making community. So now it's like we can make the map actually build stuff in front of the player's eyes, where before Dinnerbone kind of did, and I was under the impression that Jeb really had no interest in maps. But he was all about adding the new biomes and stuff in 1.7, so it's nice to have it on the map maker's end. Sarge adding all that awesome stuff, so it's completely revolutionized on our end of it.
Yeah, and I know he would have kind of his own little secret feature for map makers every week too, and you guys would try to figure it out. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I never could figure it out.
Yeah, sorry. I mean, they brought so many almost new devs to the team that it's just been a completely different development cycle from the other updates. I feel like, even bringing in, I mean, the Mog Miner, he was in kind of on the previous update, but they really let him make a lot of new changes in the new update. And there's just so many. I mean, he added bunnies. He added. Well, that's the only one I can think of right now. But
well, they were and Sarge were like mod developers in the community. And actually, I think Dinnerbone and Grum were part of Bucket, and that's.
Oh, were they?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
They were like that's like the server mod stuff.
Right.
So
it has its own controversy as of now. We'll leave that alone.
That's a different topic. But so they were heavily into mods. That's kind of how it makes sense that Mog would add the rabbits and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's, I mean, just a lot of things that they're kind of like testing it out and they're saying, hey, is a community like this? And then they automatically include it in. Like, out of nowhere, we got different doors for different types of wood. Yeah. And I was like, everybody was wanting that for so long, and then it just kind of happened overnight. It felt too easy, honestly. But no, and that it kind of lends itself to our next topic, in that the VBFS has reset, ladies and gentlemen. We have reset the map. This is season 3, kind of. We've also rebranded, and we'll probably talk about that a little bit more in a future podcast, because it's not all the way public knowledge yet, but it will be soon. But we've reset our map, and it kind of goes with, we're seeing all this new 1.8 generation and playing on a real 1.8 server for the first time, and we're all kind of obsessed with the with the server again, so it's awesome.
Yeah, it's very, very cool.
Yeah,
and I think we can reveal that we have started out in a 400 by 400 area for a server whose whitelist is technically like 200 people.
Yeah.
But with the regulars, I think we have maybe 24 regulars, at liberally estimating folks that come on. And so it's been interesting, but it's been good because, everybody's sort of on top of each other, but still giving enough space that you don't feel like you're encroaching.
Yeah, I mean,
and it's nice because like I logged on Saturday and I played for a bit, and then I was out of town on Sunday and I logged on today, and just immediately seeing all the things that have been worked on. Whereas before it would have been like, well, that was all happening in remote parts of the map that have nothing to do with me.
Exactly.
Now it's like it's all happening all in one spot, and it's really nice.
And we've had like 12 people on at a time consistently since we reset a couple of days ago. And it's just weird because normally, as a server ages, people stop playing. And for the past, 3/4 of the last map, basically you and maybe one other person are on at a time. But now we have all these people on in this small area. And it's like, if you just walk around, you're going to run into somebody. And it's really weird. It feels like a public server almost at times.
Yeah, and it's nice. Like, it's nice to be able to have that.
Yeah, especially because they're all your friends. You walk by somebody and you're like, holy crap, what are you doing up there?
I haven't actually been back on since the first night, but I believe someone in our Skype chat was mentioning that they had logged out, and when they logged back in, they were stuck inside of someone's build.
I may or may not know how that happened, yes.
And so I'm a little worried about that myself, because like I said, I haven't been on since the first night, and I logged out near someone's sheep pen, so they might have built more nearby.
Oh yeah, if that was at spawn, you're in trouble, buddy.
Yeah.
It was
lots of stuff has happened.
It was near the wall.
You might be inside a beef cooker at this point.
Well, with that news, I guess that kind of takes us into the topic we're all a little afraid of. Minecraft and Mojang itself have been acquired by Microsoft, ladies and gentlemen.
Just out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere, and we caught news of it, what was it, on a Wednesday or so? And it was official on a Monday. And it was about a week ago now. Everybody's a little nervous. A lot of people are doomsday pessimistic. At least 1/4 of this podcast is right now.
Say goodbye. The day Minecraft died.
The day Minecraft died, Monday, whatever day that was, the 15th. Yeah. So what do you guys think, truly? Let's start with Drew, because I really want to know what Drew thinks.
Unfortunately, you asking me, this isn't something I have a huge opinion about. Like,
Okay, that's what I was hoping.
It did catch me by surprise. Like, I wasn't expecting it at all. And in some ways, I'm kind of a little disappointed because they kind of said, like, we're never going to do that. But at the same time, I'm like, well, things change, and I'm not nearly, like, I'm not playing Minecraft every day anymore. And it's still a fun game. It's still a game that I enjoyed playing with my friends. But at the same time, there are lots of other games that are coming out that I'm interested in playing. And if this does actually bring about the end of Minecraft, it's like that's sad, but it's probably the game I've put
that's such a weird opinion.
It's probably the game I've put the most time into, so I'm okay with moving on because I've played it more than any other game. Yeah, I don't know.
Right. I think that's the opinion that Microsoft is completely afraid of right now. They just spent $2.5 billion for you to say, if I don't want to play it anymore, that's okay. And they're like, oh, what? I mean, we kept all the same devs. But
yeah, it's weird. I mean, I don't even use Microsoft's operating system. You know, like I run Linux on my computer at home.
Yeah,
you know, I've got an Android phone. I'm very much a Linux guy, so that's sort of the anti-Microsoft anyway. I do think that there's some things that Microsoft does get right in the tech sector. It's not a lot of things, but I you know, some things they're like I was shocked as anything whenever Xbox took off. I was like, Microsoft's getting into console gaming. There's no way that's going to work out. And it quickly became a prominent console.
Yeah, I do remember that. That was surprising, to say the least.
Yeah, so it's, you know, I've got my fingers crossed that Microsoft understands what the appeal is of Minecraft and they don't go mucking about with it. That they're really, it's just a matter of we own Mojang so that we own Minecraft, so that when they make money, we make money. Not so that we can go in and try to change things about it, you know? But I'll say one thing 100% right now. The day that Microsoft or that Mojang Microsoft makes me move my Mojang account to Microsoft Live, I'm out.
That's it. That's the final straw.
Minecraft will never be launched again on my computer if I have to have a live account. I'm just not interested in Microsoft having that information or whatever. So
that's hilarious.
Yeah.
All right, Q, in a nutshell. I mean, you can make it a decent-sized nutshell, but I know if we let this nutshell get too big, it's going to turn into a whole tree.
I can't believe people are optimistic about this. This is like... Well, I heard somebody say that the 2.5 billion is just pocket change, right? So it's either...
To who?
To Microsoft.
I'll take a couple billion if you just want to give me
to Microsoft. So they either have the money sitting there, or they just give it to somebody, and then they get another product out of it. So for them, it's no loss, even though 2.5 billion is exorbitant to us.
I worked in a Fortune 100 company recently, and $2 billion is a lot.
Well, anyway,
I mean,
besides that, I look at the way that they've run Xbox Live, and like they wouldn't even give, until recently, they wouldn't even let you have Netflix for free unless you pay for their subscription. They wouldn't let you go on the internet, on the browser, on their system unless you pay for their subscription.
Now, the one counter I have to this theology here is that ideology, not theology.
It's the word of God, okay?
The church of the anti-Microsoft.
Microgod. Is that I forgot what I was going to say.
Okay, so I'll continue. So
okay, go
ahead. Companies do not buy other companies to just let them sit there and keep doing what they do. They buy them because they want to change them. And Minecraft is a complete community, and
yeah, I can understand that. Now what, maybe they don't want to change the community or the game itself. Maybe they want to change certain aspects of marketing, because I can say that the merchandising for Minecraft is done really poorly with the crazy value of the IP right now.
Well, they only have one company that has the rights, I think. Jinx?
I know. That's what I'm saying. Mojang hasn't done anything with... They sell like a couple of creeper dolls. And that's it. And there's so much that can be made off of that merchandising. Like, you don't see Minecraft hoodies whenever you go to Target, do you, Drew?
There are Minecraft t-shirts for sale.
But I don't think there's very many. Like, you don't see people walking around with all kinds of Minecraft stuff on all the time.
See,
and you should.
Hold on. You're saying that Microsoft bought Mojang so they could sell t-shirts? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that's part of it, yeah. I think there's so much that can be done with that IP that hasn't been tapped into yet, that adds up quickly, that isn't necessarily part of the game, which, that's my fingers crossed theory, because I don't think there's much more to milk out of the game, honestly.
It's the only game I play. I'm addicted to it.
Yeah. Well, it's a good thing you're on the podcast. It's a Minecraft podcast today, luckily.
But it feels like Notch, I've heard people say, he doesn't owe us anything, he gave us Minecraft. Like, the whole reason Minecraft sold is because of YouTube. They didn't pay for any commercials. They didn't advertise it, really. It's the YouTubers that made everybody buy it.
It's true, for the most part. And the good thing is that recently Microsoft has come out and said that they will not mess with YouTube Minecraft affiliations.
Yeah, that gave me a little bit of peace.
You felt a little bit of warmth?
Well, that's the whole reason.
Your body?
Like, I bought it because I saw a YouTuber. Did you guys buy it because you saw a YouTuber play it?
Yep.
I didn't, but I'm a hipster. So.
I bought it because first I was watching the Yogscast play it, and then I found Farlands or Bust with Kurt, and I bought it. I bought it when it was at the version Kurt still plays today. That was my first version of Minecraft. It was 1.7.3 beta.
Yeah, and I mean, I bought it because I saw somebody else playing it, but then again, they may have bought it because they saw a YouTuber playing it. So
right.
It's a giant tree of association like that. And I said this from the time that they acquired it. I did not think that Microsoft was going to mess with YouTube. That would be marketing suicide, basically.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's free advertising, not to mention you're basically paying these advertising people millions of dollars a year that doesn't come out of your pocket. Like, what more awesome situation could you be put in terms of marketing?
I can't understand why companies are afraid to let, like, Nintendo for the longest time. We're not going to let you put it on YouTube. You're going to sell more games if you do that.
Yeah, no, they totally will, especially, and smaller games get it. Bigger companies are so leery towards it. And I don't know if you guys remember, it was probably maybe 5 months ago or so that Notch said he was approached by, I think he was approached by YouTube to do the same thing that Nintendo did, and try to take a portion of the Minecraft YouTube profits.
Oh, really?
And he turned it down. Mm-hmm. And that's whenever I was like, okay, we're set. Like, if that didn't happen, then nothing's gonna happen. And that's why this kind of surprised me. I thought, but I think it eventually, and this is telling from Notch's blog, it just kind of wore on him. He said in the blog he didn't mean to create something this big. He's just a developer. And I don't know how to think about that.
I want to go, oh, boo-hoo-hoo, you became a billionaire. Shut up.
Yeah,
like maybe it's tough to run, but this is why, like, okay, if you're the head honcho of Mojang, right? You delegate. You guys have, like, how many employees does Mojang have? A dozen?
It's so poorly run.
hire some more people.
Well, he did delegate. He wasn't the CEO anymore.
Yeah, but even so, like, he's still like, so much Minecraft. I can't handle all the Minecraft. I don't get that. That I don't get at all.
Yeah, I mean, my wife doesn't play, but when I told her Microsoft bought it, her response was, "Oh no." Even she knows, she doesn't even play the game. It's like, why would you do? I feel like he cheated on us without even asking our opinion or whatever.
Yeah. I feel a little bit of betrayal.
Yeah,
I can safely say that. And I think it's hard to really understand what happened unless you're in that situation, and nobody really is. But again, you're on every single late show. Like, you don't have to, Notch doesn't have to be on with David Letterman or whoever it was, Colin Ferguson.
Yeah.
And that was only like 2 months ago. If he doesn't want to be in the spotlight.
Yeah.
Like, turn down all that stuff.
I think it had to do with that server thing, because it's like, he was pretty shaken by that, and then now the sale is a month later or whatever?
Yeah. That does make sense, because, I mean, whenever I saw that, I was like, Notch kind of faded into obscurity a little bit, I guess. But he still would go to all the Minecons and shake people's hands and whatever, and be up on stage.
Oh, Minecon, that thing they did a long time ago, yeah. I've heard of that.
Yeah, I don't remember that. It is only 11 months ago. Which hopefully, I guess that's another facet of this. What do you guys, have any of you been to the Minecon? I guess I haven't either, but I went near one. I don't know if this is going to be a good thing or a bad thing for Minecon. My original thought is that it's a good thing, because Minecon I'm sorry if you're listening, Mojang, but it's really poorly run.
Don't be sorry. Everyone knows that.
I think they know.
Yeah.
I think they're aware of that's the general opinion.
No, I hope it doesn't get more commercial, but I do hope it gets better and less cheap. But I don't know.
I was never really interested in a Minecon anyway. I mean, the only thing that I would be interested in at Minecon, if I were to go, would be meeting, YouTubers that I'm familiar with that are big Minecraft players, like the Minecraft group, and, back in the day it would have been Yogscast. Obviously there's a whole thing with them, but, there was, I don't feel that, like, a convention dedicated to the game of Minecraft has enough to offer me.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I haven't been to it, but I can tell you from the pictures, that's kind of the feeling I got. It kind of felt cheap because of that. Because it seemed like most of what you were doing was standing in line to go watch a panel that had a couple YouTubers on it, whereas you could go to the Minecraft meetup and go meet all the YouTubers like I did. And that's really all I did, and I kind of got the full convention experience, except I didn't get to hang out with some of the people at the convention, but aside from that, I felt pretty satisfied with it. But
yeah, so out of all of it, the fate of Minecon is the least of my concerns.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
If I was Microsoft, that's Minecon 2015. That's where I would completely brand my name all over Minecraft. Look at the party we're throwing. Look at our great presence. This is what you can expect from us.
Yeah, I'm totally okay with that. I'm fine with seeing the Microsoft logo up there with awesome theatrics everywhere. Like, I think that would be fantastic. And they could kind of win over the community that way, but I don't know. I guess we'll see. Supposedly it's going to be in London, so none of us are going to see.
That's my biggest problem with Minecon, and I'd love to go, but like the tickets sell out in 3 seconds, and they only have
there's no way
a few thousand people there.
Yeah, like there's no way I would have. Like, I attempted to get tickets last time, and I just couldn't. And unless I was going to buy it secondhand for outrageously expensive dollars, I wouldn't have done it.
For infinity money.
Yeah, and I'm not hardcore enough to spend that kind of money. Speaking of hardcore, the VintageBeef
nice
Fan Server
transition.
has last week, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, we played UHC Season 5, Ultra Hardcore Season 5, VintageBeef Fan Server, the last Ultra Hardcore of the VintageBeef Fan Server.
Indeed.
How do you guys think it went, Drew?
Well, in case you haven't watched the first episode already, I don't want to spoil it, but let's just say
you just did.
I decided not to upload my first episode or any episodes. Yeah.
Oh, you're not going to put the second one up?
Poor Drew. Let's stop
okay.
picking on him.
No, he'll get another chance soon enough, I have a feeling. But, yeah, I think it went pretty well. I organized it, which is the only reason that didn't go well. This was a redux. This was version 2, because version 1 fell flat in the sand.
Yeah,
on its face and broke its nose.
That was hysterically bad.
I have the recording of it. I feel like I should probably render it and put it as unlisted or something. But, yeah, we did a Eternal Day World Border, but what we didn't have very many people. We had 8 people total. So we had 2 teams of 4 teams of 2. And we decided that we were going to do something a little bit different just to make it not as boring with a small amount of people. So we spread everybody out. All 8 players were spread throughout the world, even though you had somebody else on your team. So you had to go find your own teammate while you're doing UHC, and then once you find them, you can join a Skype call with them. So it's kind of a different dynamic. I think people had a lot of different strategies. I've watched Slash and Nihon's videos so far. Slash's video, well, he didn't really come up with a strategy for reasons you'll find out when you go watch it. But my strategy was to go find, Caleb West was my partner, to go find him like as quick as possible, because we need to go, look out for each other, watch each other's backs and stuff if skeletons were going to come. And then I'm watching Nihon's video, and he's like, if I just have to do this on my own, so be it. If we run into him, whatever. And I'm like, man, it's so harsh, because Fallen's a good teammate. Fallen Angel 78 was his partner. But it worked out really interestingly, and I think it's a pretty good season if you watch it to the end. I think there's 8 or so episodes, so.
Yeah, I think that's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's there was one that came out on Monday, and there's one coming out later today.
Yes.
Yes.
That's what happened. That's what I have to do later 3 nights ago. 3 nights ago. That's, yeah. Arg. Pirate.
It was a lot of fun though, and it was it was interesting, and I really enjoyed, UHC. This is the first UHC that I've played. Well, I wasn't in Season 4.
No, but you did play Drew's Birthday UHC.
I did play in Drew's Birthday UHC. That was the last one that I played.
That was that was my favorite UHC I've ever played in, let me tell you.
Well, gee, I wonder why.
Yeah,
I won.
our team had some interesting problems that time around.
Yeah, you guys died in the nether immediately, I think. Spoilers from 9 months ago.
Well, there's a whole different thing. Like, I didn't even end up uploading because I was having issues, but, like, I wasn't in the right mindset for playing UHC, so I wasn't even, like, gathering resources. So night came, and I had, like, some wood, and that was it. Like, I had no food. I didn't have any tools. I hadn't started caving. It was awful. And then we lost our teammate on the first night, and yeah, it was just very bad.
Nice. Now, QMagnet, I know you're not much for survival Minecraft most of the time, but have you ever played UHC?
I have not. I
had a feeling.
One of the reasons why the maps I make are cooperative is because I do not like competitive gameplay. Any game.
Really?
I pretty much hate it. Mostly probably because I suck at it, but...
I suck too, but I've come in I don't think I've ever gotten worse than second in a UHC I've played, and that's just dumb luck. Like the first UHC season 3 or whatever it was, I just ended up surviving. But
so at the end of so the world border moves in with you guys, and then
yeah, it's pretty cool actually. It's I think I wasn't affected by it, if that's not too much of a spoiler, but I think some other people were. And it's pretty funny because lots of times you can get down in a cave, right? And you're not paying attention to your coordinates. And then all of a sudden, in this cave, you see the world border coming towards you. And there's just sheer panic, I think. Because you don't know if you're going to be able to actually get out of this cave before the world border traps you. And once it goes past you, you take damage.
I actually have never played with the world border. Can you go through it and die, or does it push you?
No, if you stand still and you let the world border pass over you, it will start suffocating you like it's a solid block.
Okay.
But that's a setting, isn't it? I think it is.
You can change it. That's what it does by default, and you can change how much damage and how frequently you take said damage.
Right.
I think you can make it that it works.
Pretty painless,
but you could set it up that the damage that you take is 0, and you can, if you're outside the border, it will let you move inside the border. I don't think it will let you move away from the border any further, but I think it will let you move towards the border so that you can get back into it. Is the way that it works. I haven't played with it sufficiently to have that level of detail.
We're gonna play on it on the news server.
Yeah,
we're gonna try to kill ourselves with it. That'll be great.
That'd be tricky considering it's going in the other direction.
Oh, it would be tricky. Well, dude, I know you can ender pearl out of it, and I think you die immediately. And there's no way to get your stuff because your stuff just drops all outside the world border.
Ah, that's an interesting thing to try. I'd be willing to try to land an ender pearl right on the other side.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. All right.
Transition.
Nope, no transitions. We are beyond transitions because we are into questions.
Questions. Questions about what?
Questions about whatever they wanted to ask. We've got a lot of questions this time because we had no questions last time, and people like a challenge, I guess. I don't know.
I also may have tweeted it out right before. So,
yes. Which is handy.
That's fine. We're all about self-promotion here on the Dem Guys podcast. So, am I going to read the questions? You are. That is your job. Okay, well, I shall read them like a pirate.
You read questions and spell things.
Okay,
spell thing. Very, very specific thing.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, I do spell thing. Sarah JMCB says, if you could create a video game, what would it be?
Wow.
I tried to figure out a place to put a word in there, and it didn't work.
No, it didn't. I'm just... If you could create a video game, what potato would it be?
What potato?
You can't just
what do you like on your French fries? What flavor ice cream is your favorite?
A video game.
QMagnet?
Video game.
Would it be Minecraft and maybe a CTM map with all kinds of different...
With wool that shoots from the sky? Yeah.
Dude, that would be awesome if you could get on that. Yeah. I would totally play that.
Honestly, those are tough questions because I'm the type of person who just will see something I like and then want to improve that, but coming up with something out of nothing Like I can't. Whoever when they invented Mario Brothers, like it's a great game, but I would never be able to think of the idea of Mario Brothers. I would only be able to expand upon something like that.
Right. How do you pull that out of nothing?
Yeah.
It was really hard for somebody to think of a plumber that... I could probably think of a dumb idea like that turns out to be a hit,
hits
right?
bricks with his head, and they break, and eats mushrooms and grows large.
If you think about it, it's a really dumb idea, but it's all about the execution of it.
And his enemies are turtles, plants, and big, giant bullets.
Exactly. That's how I imagined Japan for like the first half of my life, and then I think I saw pictures of it for the first time, and it wasn't like that.
No.
For me, there was a video game way back, like, oh my gosh, like 10 years ago probably, maybe more than that. And I can't remember what it was called now, because it started up, it was a freeware game, and it wasn't very well written. It would crash on a regular basis, but it had a really cool concept behind it, and the things that worked really well. And I can't remember what it was called, but it was basically like a space empire simulator. Like, you had a ship that was kind of like, if you've seen Battlestar Galactica, it kind of was like the Galactica, but, its own kind of concept. And then, it had all these different systems that you had to manage, but you could also go and like launch yourself in an individual fighter and fly around, and it was first person perspective from like the command module of whatever ship you were controlling, and there was different weapon systems, and there was like trade. It was kind of like if you took the concept behind Starbound, but you made it fully 3D, and you took out like the sort of resource gathering crafting element to it, and you put in more like economy management stuff. That's sort of the thing that I'm going for there. So I would love to have a game kind of like that, and that's what Notch had been doing, that OX10C for a little while, and then kind of abandoned it
for the first time.
Yeah, and like that looked like a really cool concept. It seemed like it was going to be along those lines. So it's that sort of game that I would really like to see be made.
Okay.
And Kerbal Space Program comes real close to scratching that itch.
I was going to say, that kind of seems a little Kerbal Spacey, but without economy a little bit.
Well, economy's in Kerbal Space Program now, too, because you have to manage your budget for building the rockets. But
a little bit, but it's not... That's more of just budget management. We're talking about, actual world economy. Yeah,
exactly.
I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, you're not traveling from, like, outpost to outpost trying to, get the best deal on spice or whatever,
Do you
but
coupons on space junk?
Well, yeah, right, my idea, I have thought about this a lot before. So I have several different like stories and things that I would love to turn into games, but my idea for like the perfect video game that I would want to play is it would be a third person like fantasy RPG type thing. I would want the world to generate randomly, kind of like a Minecraft type thing. But I would want it also to have randomly generated like NPCs that could give you quests and stuff, and then there would also be like a kind of a main storyline besides like all these little side quests and stuff that you could do. But then there would also be crafting type things if you wanted to get into that, and then most important,
so kind of like a cross between what's it? Skyrim and Minecraft.
Yeah, kind of. And I would really think it'd be cool though if you could have like set up a server kind of like Minecraft where other people could be in that world with you, living in the same thing, and then you could ally together, you could fight each other. So it's kind of a mix of a few different games, and I don't know how it would actually work. It'd be very resource intensive, I'm sure, but
it'd be a console game, it'd be okay, and then you could just blame it on the console limitations.
But yeah, it's just kind of like, I love the fantasy, like the whole create your own character, and you have like a skill tree and like improved combat and everything. And I also love like Assassin's Creed parkour type stuff.
Yeah.
And I want like a really good story, but I also want the randomly generated, kind of free Minecraft type thing.
Choose your own adventure type deal almost.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's kind of some of the elements that I would do with mine. I would do like some kind of stealth game that was like a team of 4 type game, right? Where you all had to work intelligently, cooperatively to get through different levels. And some of them were puzzle type levels, and others were like more of you had to think of a good way, like a first person shooter that you had to think of a good way to take out all these enemies at the same time and work cooperatively
So like Ghost
that.
Recon.
I think that would totally be my game. Maybe. I haven't really played Ghost Recon.
Yeah, I was going to say that it's kind of like Rainbow Six.
A little bit, but they don't have puzzles, do they?
Not really. But you were saying...
I would add
puzzles. Figure out how to take out like all the enemies at the same time or whatever. That's very much like Ghost Recon Future Soldier.
Yeah, that's like level 3, but like level 4 is an awesome puzzle, and then level 5 is like a boss battle, and then like level 6 is like a puzzle with a boss battle.
And number 7 is like a trivia place, and number 8 is
like
a labyrinth.
A labyrinth, yeah. That'd be awesome.
And then there's a level where you just drop really far.
You should think about making diversity in Gary's mod.
Yeah,
I think that's a good idea.
I have that game. I have not played it yet. Not touched it yet. I've had it for months. I haven't touched it yet.
We have it too. We need to get on that. That'd be fun. All right, time for the next question by Sea Monkeys. Wow, I just had a conversation about sea monkeys today. What a coincidence. Apparently, if you don't put them in distilled water, there's a good chance they're going to die. Just so everybody who's listening.
Public service announcement.
Yeah, that's true. This is from 1,000,000 Monkeys, who didn't mention he was a guest in our UHC. Congrats. Being a guest. It was awesome.
Indeed.
Thanks for playing, actually. We needed an extra person, and he was ready to step in. So, 1,000,000 Monkeys, aka Sea Monkeys this time, says, "Ahoy, guys. I hear this might be a Piratey podcast. I'm sorry I left you high and dry without questions last time. I figure someone else on board the USS Listener ship would step up and ask something. So, I feel a little...
He's calling him out.
Sorry. This voice is making me weird things happen. So I'm back, and I have a Doctor Who question for you. So, no, you can stop paying attention once you're done reading. Good. It seems like everyone always argues about who is their best or favorite Doctor, but I want to know, who is your favorite Doctor's companions? Arr!
It really sounds like you're dying.
I think I am. Like, everything's starting to close in.
Have
I can
to
see
get
the
out
light.
one more
word before I die.
Well, before we dive into this, QMagnet, are you a Doctor Who fan?
I'm,
Yeah, you can...
How should we put this?
Lightly.
I want to like it. I'm a huge sci-fi fan. I just cannot get into Doctor Who.
Now, have you tried with the 2005 series?
I tried with the Christopher Eccleston one.
Okay.
And I gave up on it. And because everything I see, commercials, and a lot of my friends love it. And I'm just like, oh, I really want to love it.
I just could not get into it.
Well, I did start watching, what was that spin-off? Was it?
There was Torchwood.
Torchwood, yes.
Yeah.
And I kind of liked that one, but I haven't seen much from it.
Yeah. I think Torchwood went maybe 2 or 3 seasons. But yeah, okay, so I guess it comes down to Drew and I, really. Drew, I'm gonna let you answer first.
This is a hard one.
Hang on, real quick. Can I get my joke in? I was trying to
you have a joke
for it.
Yeah, go ahead. Fire away.
QMagnet, are you saying there's a hole in your heart that can only be filled by who?
Yeah.
Never mind. Continue.
Hey, QMagnet, a space in the hosting roster just opened up.
It was such a good joke.
I missed that last one. It went completely over my head.
Have you never heard that song? There's a hole in my heart that can only be filled by you.
No, I haven't.
No.
Wow. Okay. Never mind.
Maybe
other parts of the question.
You should have sang it.
Sit on the other side of the room.
You should have sang it. Then we'd know.
Maybe someone on the listenership will know. Comment if you know what Snow is talking about.
If not,
there you
Google
go.
it and pretend like you did, so you can seem like you're smart. Like these three.
So yeah, I don't know. Like, I want to say Amy and Rory, because I really did like Amy and Rory.
Oh yeah, they were good.
Now you know how I feel every time we talk about Doctor.
But then
I'm like, yep, that was a good episode. Sure.
I like when in the early episodes I thought Rose was annoying, but she actually turned out to be a pretty good companion. So like I would also say that Rose was pretty cool. And if you count Captain Jack, he's really awesome. So I would maybe say Captain Jack is the coolest if you would count him, because he wasn't one of the regular companions, but yeah.
Right. Well, let's see. I haven't seen a whole lot of classic Who, but I've seen enough, and I've seen enough of Elizabeth Sladen in the current stuff, both, Doctor Who and then the spin-off Sarah Jane Adventures. But Sarah Jane Smith is one of my favorite companions of the Doctor. She was a companion of the third and fourth Doctors in the classic run, and they brought her character back for a cameo and a couple of, sort of a cameo for a guest appearance in an episode with the 10th Doctor. And everybody working on the current incarnation of the show loved her so much that they actually ended up creating a spin-off, Saturday morning kids type show, where she and some other kids are helping to protect Earth from aliens while the Doctor's away, kind of thing. It's much more fun to watch than I just described it.
We can only imagine.
But it was really good, and I really liked her character, and I really liked the personality that she brought to things. But in terms of the actual companions from the current run, there is one of two opinions that a person can have of Donna Noble. You can either love her or you can hate her. There is no in between that I've ever seen, and I'm firmly in the camp that loves Donna as companion. The sassiness that she had, just constantly keeping the Doctor sort of off balance and holding him to task and just not taking any crap from anybody. I really enjoyed Donna as a companion, and Clara has a little bit of that same sass with the 12th Doctor in the current season. So I've been enjoying her in the current season. But I'd say all-time favorite of the current run standard companions has got to be Donna. And I just wanted to put out there that Martha was the biggest waste of time ever.
See, I liked.
I don't even know Martha, but that's.
I liked Martha more than Donna. I thought at least in.
Wow.
Fight.
I don't know, there were several of the companions that just had a shorter run. They weren't around for a whole lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I didn't really get attached to them, but they had their moments where I either was yeah, they're pretty cool, or I'm just wow, they're really annoying. And I really liked the first episode that Martha was in, her introductory episode. So that kind of, for me, I was okay, Martha's pretty cool. Donna just annoyed me. And
so, okay, I gotta say real quick, there's a little fun behind the scenes Doctor Who fact. The episode Drew's talking about is in the 10th Doctor's run, who's David Tennant, who is a Scotsman, but he had to play the Doctor with an English accent. And apparently he was known to have difficulty. This was his second season as the Doctor. This episode was at the very start of that. And apparently he had established with the cast and crew and the writers that he had some difficulty pronouncing the sound oon, like platoon, without reverting to his native Scottish accent. He had a hard time pulling that off in the English accent that he was supposed to have. And so they wrote this entire episode with this race of aliens so that he would have to say the phrase, a platoon of Jadoon on the moon. Just to mess with him. They used that concept to put all of those words together. I did not know that. Yeah, it's just hysterical. And knowing David Tennant, the kind of personality that he is, it doesn't surprise me that they would do that to him on the show. But yeah, a platoon of Jadoon on the moon.
I was thinking, when you're saying that character was a love it or hate it, I think Snow and I will both agree we're pretty indifferent about that character.
I'm middle of the road on Donna.
Yeah.
I can see the value, but I'm not.
I'll go both ways,
I'll point you to some episodes on Netflix. You'll develop an opinion one way or the other real fast.
We'll find polarizing Donna episodes. Drew send us the negatives and Slash send us the positives, and we'll make our decision.
There you go.
Exactly. All right, last question today. Maybe I can make it through this one. We'll see. I'm going to take it. There we go. Daughter says, if you all were a soup, what flavored soup would you be? Both individually and as a group?
I've been shot.
I'm bleeding out.
Cannonball to the hip.
Well, it's funny. This is daughter's like go-to question.
I don't think she knows any other words in English. Is the problem.
Drew and I have each answered this question for ourselves in episodes.
It too, but...
How have you answered it? What was your answer? I think I may have missed yours.
I'm pretty sure. Well, I always say the correct answer, and that's tomato. Tomato bisque.
Tomato bisque.
Yeah, it's a reference from a joke that nobody understands. So I had to look it up, and the answer is, I think it's tomato bisque.
You've got a role for those jokes that no one understands.
Tell me about it, man. Welcome to my life. You should just follow me around if you want to know more of those. I would totally be a loaded baked potato soup.
Wow.
That's so good.
Drew and I both are on the same page. We are both chicken noodle soup.
I get tired of chicken noodles, so it makes sense.
So, QMagnet, what did you think about this opening that we were talking about just a little bit ago?
Yeah. I don't get along with.
What about you, Q? What do you think? What?
Man, who comes up with these questions? Really? Like,
she's crazy.
This one comes from Iceland. So.
I never thought in my life I'd ever have to figure out a type of soup I would be.
Well, when I read this question, I misread it, and I didn't realize Daughter had asked it, or I would have noticed. I thought it said, if you were a soap, what flavored soap would you be? And I was like, I don't want to answer that. I don't know. That's weird.
When I was a kid, my parents took me to Orlando. We were in the motel, and my dad says, or he had a, well, I don't want to give it away, but he had something in his hand, and I'm like, oh, cheese, can I have some cheese? And he looks at me and says, okay. So I take a big bite. Oh, it's soap!
Oh, no!
True story. I thought it was a piece of cheese. Gross. I took a huge bite out of it, and of course he's thinking, okay, you want to bite some soap? Go ahead.
That's
unfortunate.
That's so gross.
Yeah, it was gross. That was our trip to
Okay, what kind of soup, though?
Type of soup? Could go with the pun answer and say I'd be a talk soup.
A talk soup? What's a talk soup?
Talk soup? It's like old jargon for talk show.
Oh.
You don't know your Weird Al? Come on.
Oh, man. No, I don't.
I would.
Slash does, right? Aren't you a Weird Al fan, Slash?
I am a Weird Al fan, yeah.
There you go. Yeah. Now we have to think of a soup as a group soup, if you will.
Group soup.
I think would be like minestrone.
I can get behind being minestrone.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah. What?
Sounds Italian.
You don't know what minestrone is?
No. I'm not a soup person.
Wow.
That's why I said chicken noodle. That's like the only thing I know.
It was in that one episode of Doctor Who. You know?
Minestrone.
Should be able to relate to that.
Yeah. No, minestrone is like a beef and vegetable Italian soup. It's really good. And it's made up of all kinds of different parts that come together to make something delicious.
I was gonna say chicken noodle because that's what everybody takes when they're sick.
Oh,
and we only get listened to when people are sick.
Yeah,
and there's nothing better to do.
It makes you feel better
when they can't.
At least you know our audience.
Yes,
that's what YouTube analytics tells us. At least 75% of people that listen to this podcast are sick. Okay.
It's amazing the data Google has on people.
It is. Whatever, at least we got a niche.
Alright, well, QMagnet, where can people find you?
If you want them to find you, I mean, they don't have to.
Well,
if you want the happy version, go to YouTube. If you want the ranting version, go to Twitter. But
now your Twitter handle is a little confusing, I must say, because there's an @QMagnet, and that's a lady named Diane K. Hermans.
Yeah.
And people tweet to her every once in a while.
Well, so is the YouTube. They're both the.
Really?
Well,
I didn't know
the YouTube and the Twitter Twitter are both the QMagnet because the other ones were taken. But I'm sure Diane appreciates all the messages people give her.
She's like, "What is diversity? Why do people keep asking me about diversity when it's going to come out?"
Well, it's like anytime a command blocker wants to write a command and on Twitter, it's @E and @P and @R. I just always think those Twitter accounts are just overloaded with Minecraft info.
Oh, so that's how you do that command.
That's awesome. Yeah. Exactly. Yep. So it's @DQMagnet or youtube.com/DQMagnet.
Yep. That's where you go.
be on the lookout for Diversity 3 coming out in October of 2014.
Yeah, it's already there. It's a game. It's a game where we're going for like kind of a group where you have to work together. One level's gonna be probably 4 people,
Dude,
with guns, and you gotta work together. One level's gonna be a puzzle. The next one might be something else.
You've given in to Microsoft. You're stealing my ideas.
And then we're gonna have randomly generated world where you've got NPCs who give you quests and
he's going after us all. Kick him off. End the podcast, Drew. End the podcast.
It's all good. It's all good.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. So thank you.
Thank you guys for boarding the listenership.
Arr.
And don't forget to sing happy birthday to Bilbo and Frodo. You don't actually have to do that. That's just...
I mean, you can.
Yes, you do.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it's required. We are requiring it for the listeners now. Wherever you are listening to this, sing happy birthday to Bilbo and Frodo.
Don't forget, just because it's not Monday anymore doesn't mean it's not still Tolkien Week.
This is true.
Oh, yeah, totally knew about that before you just said that. I agree. We'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.